New reaction today to the turmoil inside the FBI over the Trump administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case files. FBI Director Kash Patel went on X yesterday to say he doesn't plan to resign over the MAGA uprising. And a new warning from a former FBI agent who resigned after he says he was targeted based on his friendship with someone on Patel's enemies list.
The reason this is so important is the FBI and other law enforcement agencies, they have a legitimate monopoly on the use of force in the United States. And one of the trade-offs for giving them that is that the American people need to be assured that that is going to be used in an apolitical fashion that is based solely on factual circumstances and not personal vendettas of those in charge. And I really think we are starting to get to an inflection point where I don't know that the American people will be able to trust that in a few months or a year.
And joining me now, we have Jim Davidson, former FBI agent with 23 years on the job. He is now president of FBI Integrity Project. Jim, welcome to you. I'm curious what you're hearing about the culture around top leadership personalities at the FBI. And when we hear about heated debates over the Epstein files between Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, is that normal in the Bureau?
No, this is a distraction, Alex. It really is. And I think we need to go back a couple of months to January, February, and talk about the absolutely extraordinary nature of Patel and Bongino being appointed as the leaders of the FBI to begin with. They were both fierce partisans in the 4-year run-up to this administration. They've demonstrated an inability or an unwillingness to discern fact from fiction. You just look at their statements regarding the 2020 election. And traditionally, we pick a nonpartisan, Constitution-minded FBI director that is overwhelmingly approved by members of the Senate. And the Senate failed in this circumstances, and these two do not they simply do not carry that tradition, that historical and very important tradition of the FBI, of FBI leadership.
Here's another question, because the New York Times reports, Jim, that the FBI is using polygraphs to test, among other things, employee loyalty to Patel. Is that normal? And what does it tell you about the work environment inside the Bureau?
Well, the use of polygraphs to root out people or to try to make a determination as to who may have spoken to the media would not be terribly unusual. But this has to be viewed in the larger context. Since this new administration has taken over, the FBI has just culled its ranks. And that culling of its ranks, including Mike Feinberg, who you just showed just before the segment, as is the test has been, loyalty and fealty to Donald Trump, and they are setting the tone, getting rid of or forcing agents to resign who they believe or ultimately suspects fealty would be to the Constitution. They are promoting very inexperienced agents to the upper echelons of the FBI. And I think that the context is really, I think we have to look at the modern, in modern political times, there has always been a line. There's always been sort of a division between the White House and the Department of Justice and its component agencies, including the FBI. And that line has been blurred. And the blurring of that line is a violation of norms. So I think what we've learned since 2016 is that as much as we like to think that we are a nation of laws, we are really a nation of norms, and violating those norms erodes the foundations of our institutions. And this is one of our biggest norms. And I think that it's something that my organization is really looking closely at. We have seen the FBI ignore worthy investigations, open spurious investigations, including the investigation, it appears, against Jim Comey and Brennan. Yes.
So, Jim, when you describe it this way, what is your worst fear about FBI agents having more fealty, more loyalty to an individual like a President Donald Trump over the Constitution?
Well, I think that there is a small contingent of FBI agents that are moving to the top of the organization who are so, they believe so much in the morality of their politics that they are being easily manipulated. And as the 2028 election comes closer, we've made the argument that the FBI alone, even without the DOJ, without control of the media, can actually be used to influence the outcome of election, whether it be the midterms or the next presidential election. And you do that by, again, opening spurious investigations, ignoring worthy investigations, the mayor of New York. And it's something that everyone needs to be aware of. And again, it's just extraordinary, the appointment of these two individuals.
I got to say, it's chilling as well. Jim Davidson, thank you so much. We'll see you again.